Good morning. If you're tuning in, this is Good Morning Kenya, and we're talking about matters entrepreneurship, matters money, because money makes the world go round. But that money that you make, how much of it do you save? If at all you save. Kenya has already been ranked as among the least, the country with the least saving culture. This morning we wanted to address that, and taking us through this conversation is none other than the Managing Director at Postbank, Mr. Raphael Lekolool. Karibu sana.
Asante sana,
Thank
Regina.
you for your time.
Thank you very much.
Thank you for making time. Now, when you talk about savings culture, let's start off with the issue of saving. Maybe you can paint us a picture. A report was made public by the Central Bank of Kenya that indicated that between the financial year 2020-2021, that is when we had COVID last year, the rich deposited more. Now that anomaly, when people are thinking we're going to get into a recession and a pandemic, issues of saving, how do we stand as it is?
Thank you, Regina, for that question. It's actually puzzling when you look at it, when people are expected to be spending more, and then suddenly you find the levels of money in the banking industry going up. And it's something we also experienced in Postbank. We expected to see a shift of people withdrawing, but it didn't happen. Normally what happens during such times is people wait out to see during these times of uncertainty. They wait out to see what will happen next. So the risk adjustment they do is, let's keep the money that we have. Let's wait for these opportunities that will come up, and then we come out and invest again. We saw that in the industry coming out very clearly, and we also saw in our level, at a retail level in Postbank, where there was no real expenditure, especially like schools were closed, so there was no fees to be paid. So people were just taking care of the little they have in anticipation of whatever eventuality that they'll come, that they'll need this money to work on it. And that's what happens also in the banking industry. People hold out to see what will happen, scale down the activities, scale down on what they spend on, just to sit out any bad eventuality that may come.
Literally saving for a rainy day, or rather speculating for a better investment opportunity after the cloud shifts. When you talk about savings and Kenyans, why do you think Kenyans have a poor savings culture?
It's lack of education, lack of financial literacy. We at Postbank, what we try to do is educate people from even the school level to see how they can embrace this savings culture. To build that savings culture is not easy. At times it can be forced on people. You see governments at times put restrictions on how much people can remove out of what they earn. So to build that culture is not very easy. And financial literacy is quite key. People need to understand that there is a tomorrow. This idea of this YOLO mentality, you only live once. People
YOLO,
know.
life is for the living.
Yes.
At the moment, if I have it, I have it. If I don't have it, I don't have it.
Yes.
Now, talking about, just changing our mindset, because I tend to think it's how we enculturated. There is this notion that for you to save, you have to be making a six-figure salary or earnings. Is this so? How do we let's unpack that.
Thank you, Regina. It's a very interesting question. Usually, and it's a conversation you used to have even when you were young. When I reach this level of earnings is when I'll start saving. You reach that level, you still consume, and then you say, and I get another promotion, I'll do something. And you find people doing other things, and this money usually runs away from you for some strange reason. So if you learn at that level, where if you're earning 100 shillings, and you decide 15 to 25% of what I earn, I will save, and you make it a culture, then you'll be able to ride through. So at that level, whether you're a mama boga, a boda boda guy, and you're earning this 100, 200 shillings, if you save 20 shillings per day, you will be taking a very big step forward, so that when you start earning that 1,000, you'll be graduating to 200. Don't change your lifestyle.
So what are you saying? What you're recommending is that we save at least 20% of our gross, or is it net earnings? Because I may have earned 100,000 and have spent 80,000 in my expenses, miscellaneous and such, and what is remaining is 20,000. So do I save 20% of what is remaining? That is my 20,000 after expenses. Or are you recommending that I save 20% of my gross earnings, and now we're working with 100,000?
There's also the aspect of KRA, which will come in the tax.
No, I'm saying, you know what I'm saying, the take home. I'm going with 100,000 take home after we have paid Caesar what belongs to Caesar.
Yes. You've given your tithe.
Yes, we've given our tithe. We're saying, this is now what I want to do for my rent, for the school, for such. Now I have 100,000.
Then do 20,000. Push yourself, do that 20,000. It's not easy, because there are demands coming from everywhere. There are demands coming from home. There are demands of, if you have children, they want to go out to eat pizza. So you need to actually balance yourself in that respect, so that you are able to build up. You don't have to start at the 20. You can start at the 5, build it up to 10. By the time you reach 20, then you'll be at the optimum level. So the thing is, as you take this 100,000, make sure before it even hits your bank, you've taken it elsewhere. And there are products to help you do that.
Now let's talk about the products, because I am already hearing what Kenyans are asking. In this economy, can I afford to save? That is a question. In this economy, we are not saving. Can we afford to save, sir?
It's very interesting. I think throughout life, good times, bad times, learn to save. During good times, you save more. During bad times, definitely circumstances will force you to save less. But it has to be a continuous process. That savings has to continue. I know right now, with all the challenges that are there and demands for this money are great. But if you just discipline yourself, you'll be able to do that savings.
Discipline.
Yes.
We will come back to discipline. Now let's talk about the products that are available out there, because when you talk about savings, before the era of the banking system, we used to do mattress banking right under the pillow or under the seat somewhere, but now we are taking our monies to the bank. This brings a question: is the money savings that I'm saving earning me enough while at the bank? Is it?
Yes, it is.
Is it worth it?
It is. It's worth it. Yeah, I can tell you for free. Postbank is a bank that's been there for over 100 years. So you can imagine, for our grandparents, if they were saving during those times, you can imagine, and somebody is 100 and they've continued saving until today. I'll just leave that to your imagination, how much they would have saved. So products have come up to enable you to save. What we try to do is we try to adjust. The people, because of the discipline they may not have, decide that once they get paid, they just put a standing order in their account, so that the minute the money checks in, it's taken. The 20% goes to savings, and they continue with, and they readjust their life with the 80. What has happened is the products that are there and the technology that has come up, it's enabled people now to ease the ability to save. You don't have to go to the bank. There's technology now. You have wallets in your phone. The thing is, if you don't have that discipline, then put money in a place where you cannot easily access, or you are penalized for it. So that when I say, if you withdraw this money, then you lose all the interest, then you start thinking twice. Then it helps you along that journey in terms of savings, because there are penalties that will be associated with you withdrawing that money. So there are various products that are there, and banking institutions have come up with various ways. So you can have debits to your account, you can have a payroll check off, or if you're in a market, you designate one person to be banking for you. Yes.
Now that you've talked about something very key, interest. The interest that my monies that I've saved in a savings account, the interest that it earns me, it's more or less kidogo sana. That's the truth of the matter. And that's one of the reasons that Kenyans are like, you know what, I'd rather have my money in circulation than have it sitting. Let it work for me, then, you know, the dynamics there. And how is that then affecting people like me, people who are reasoning, you know what, I need to have my money to make for me money? I mean, how are you dealing with people, consumers such as me?
Yeah, it's a common predicament we see. the thinking is, if I put this money there, it will earn me more. I'd rather buy this plot, it will appreciate. There's some capital appreciation. I'd rather buy something that I know will generate me that income. I'll do a side hustle and invest this money there. But the truth of the matter is, money is king. When you have it at whatever point in time, then you'll be in a safe space. So what we try to do is to tell people, continuously save. I know when you put money in the bank, you'll be earning 2 to 4%. Inflation will be at around 7%, 6 to 7%, and the government is busy trying to bring it down. So when you look at those inflationary levels, it means that if you put 100 bob, it will not be 100 bob in the next 5 years. It has to have done something. And when you look at the savings and the savings products we have, we try really to match so that this 100 bob still remains equivalent in 5 years when you come for it. So we try and put interest that is reasonable. So if you look at the banks, and us included at Postbank, the more money you have and the longer you give it to us to invest for you, the higher your interest will be. So if you save over a long time and you've built up enough, then you can come and start negotiating higher interest rates for the money. But what happens is, if you continuously want to hustle and spend the money, then you'll not have something at the end of the day. So you need to make that conscious decision. 20% has to go for savings.
Well,
this other one has to.
Well,
it's not easy. That's why we come in the education bit.
You've talked about investments. Curious one here. We're always told it's safer to do business with government, and we have seen the rollout of T-bills and such. Someone who has a savings account with Postbank at this point, is there an opportunity or an investment wheel, so to speak, that would allow them to invest in government T-bills and such?
We are exploring that now. We have customers who through the banking industry, they go and bid for these T-bills and bonds, and then we facilitate and do the transfers for them. We've seen good customers who are corporate, who have a lot of money, do that, because what they like about Postbank is, and is one of the incentives the government has given, the interest you earn in Postbank is tax-free. Unlike other banks you're charged withholding tax on the interest that you earn. For Postbank, it's not there. So people who are in the know, and that's why this education is quite key and needs to go out. In Postbank, when you save, your interest, if we tell you it's 4%, it's 4%. We no longer, we do not charge the extra 15 withholding tax. Yes. So you'll find that you retain much more when you're saving in Postbank. And we've seen people who've learned that, do that, so that they target, when they build to a certain amount, then they go now for treasury bills or treasury bonds. So because those ones come at levels of maybe 50 to 100,000. So you'll find people saving, and then when it reaches that level, then they move over to the next level.
That is one advantage of actually having a savings account at Postbank. But now the question is, I have not seen agents of Postbank. And we know all these agents when it comes to fintech and mobile money entities. I have not seen that. And if there's one, you need to tell me where it is. Right? So the issue and the age, we're in the age of fintech, and this is technology that has changed the banking industry, so to speak. So plans, or rather integration of tech into banking in as far as Postbank is concerned, your take?
We are quite progressed. We have very huge strides to take. We need to be there. And when you look at some of the infrastructure we have over 97 branches. So in terms of presence out there, we are there. We have over 600 agents. So we are there on the ground. I think my take is now I'll have a chat with my team.
We need to know that there's a Postbank agent. Then also talking about technology, how easy is it for me today, someone who is watching back at home, who wants to do the savings with Postbank? Is there an app? Because we are digital right now. Is there an app that would allow me to save with this bank?
Yes, we have an app, and then we have the USSD code. You do the
We will get it as we proceed.
Yes.
We will get it as we proceed. Don't worry.
Yeah,
we'll
I'll get you the code. Yeah, you just do the pay bill and then put your account number, and you can do it every day. And if you even go to an agent, you want to pay 100 shillings, we don't even charge. And that's why we are trying to bring people who are earning that level of income at 100 shillings, be able to save at an agent without even paying any transaction fees. So those are the incentives we've put out there. Yes.
Now, when you talk about savings, women are known to have merry-go-rounds and chamas. And is this a niche that you have tapped into, like group savings? Is this a niche that you are exploring?
Yes, we've had very interesting discussions around that, and we've gotten a lot of assistance, and we are part of a group of World Savings Bank organization, and they have given us grants to be able to push these Chama products, and we've had very good response in that regard. And right now we are sitting with over 6,000 accounts, basically accounts of Chamas, because we find Kenyans like coming together, the cooperative movement, Harambee spirit.
Yes.
I think coming together, and then you sort of share the risk. You're saying, okay, to end a post bank, we are all sharing the risk, so that if I lose, I'm not the only one losing. If I gain, we're all gaining.
The security numbers.
Yes.
We take it a notch higher.
Yes.
Now, in your banking experience at this point, how would you compare us, or rather this last 5 years, in comparison to the last 5 years before? Like, what have we done? What are the emerging issues that you have encountered in the banking sector that they're going to leapfrog this sector as we go? I know we have the issue of fintech, but other than that, in our culture, and I'm coming from a point of, it is the older generation that was banking. It was the older generation that was banking. But I'm sure this has changed, or has it not?
It has changed. What has happened is, because of the ease of doing business using technology, and we can't run away from that, you'll find even banks which were shying away in the last 10 years, banks which were shying away from using technology, mobile banking, they've all embraced it. And some of them are way ahead of even the ones who had started before. So it's been forced on us. For those who are looking forward, they were embracing it and they're already running with it. When you look at Postbank, we are way ahead of our time. We are the ones who rolled out like agency banking. But right now, we are finding like because of the corona pandemic, handling of cash is no longer, it has become a big issue. So we want to remove the cash from the economy, but use other methods like technology, and that's where M-Pesa comes in handy. So people don't have to come to a banking hall, go to an agent to withdraw cash. They can do the transfers on the phone. So there's been a big shift, both at the bank end and due to demand from the customer also. The ease of banking, technology, internet banking, it's all come to the fore. And right now people are talking about WhatsApp. And it's conversation you have which are very interesting with these the fintech guys, because they're actually pushing the boundaries. Suddenly you find there's no clear demarcation of what is a fintech and what is a bank. We are all there in that space. Yeah. Yeah.
Now, from where I sit, I grew up knowing Postbank, and I related it to mailing, letter mailing, poster, tunaenda poster, Postbank. From where you sit at the helm of this, what have you done to actually, open up this reason, and that we're not just doing envelopes and letters and such, but they're also this, because I tend to think it has also played a key role in where the society stands as far as Postbank is concerned.
Okay. It's quite interesting that you asked that question, and I can talk a bit the developed world so that I can come back to a Kenyan scenario.
Yeah.
You look at the developed world, the Postbank, if you look at Germany, Japan, South Africa, Postbanks have grown and become very, very big banks. And the government really uses them for social payments, like what we have now in Wajami payments, any payments that's targeting retail sector that's coming from government. They've tried to channel all that through post bank. What this means is you have a poster. If you go home now to a village and you ask, poster iko wapi, you'll be shown.
Oh yes.
You'll be shown.
They always
They know where it is.
Yes.
There's a poster here, there's a poster here. So the thing is, how do we leverage on that as post bank?
Yes.
Have agents in those locations, put a POS for people to be able to transact. And that's what we're doing as post bank, trying to reach that machinery in a place where everyone knows. So apart from just going to do your letters and everything in the post office, you can still have that financial access. And that's what we're riding on now. We are talking to partners in the banking industry. They don't need to open a branch everywhere. If you are there and you have an agent or you have a branch, then they can use our infrastructure. This idea of holding what you have restricts you to very small population. But for us, because now we are accessible and we are open to this bigger population where you have that agency wherever we can, then you can utilize that agency, because if you have a POS, if it's not working, it's not earning us money. If your customer is near there and they're not able to bank, they have to go 20, 30 kilometers to bank, and you have this infrastructure here. Yeah, you need to save that person that time, because they have better things to do than walk 20 kilometers to go do the banking.
Indeed.
And that's the infrastructure that these post offices are going to give us to roll out our
Do you have timelines for this?
Yes. We've started. We are reaching out. We've agreed poster that we'll roll out around 70 or so gadgets with them. We are configuring the gadgets, and in the next 2 to 3 months, they should be out there in the field. Yes.
The next 2 to 3 months.
Yes.
Now let's talk about risk, and we're talking about cyber security threats. Serianu presented a report, I think, sometime last week, that indicated that SACCOs, or rather the bank, especially SACCOs, are at greater risk of cyber threats. From where you sit, what have you done to ensure, rather mitigate, on a would-be case scenario? How safe are my savings with Postbank?
I can tell you 100% your savings are safe with Postbank. Apart from what the government talks about in terms of the way the Act has been set up to protect depositors with Postbank, the other key thing we do internally, we have very good infrastructure, very good security apparatus to sniff out any attacks on us. I know cybersecurity is quite critical. Access to our systems, I'm sure, because we have all these gadgets all out there, people are looking at seeing, okay, how can I try and hack into Postbank? But what we've done is we've put in safety measures around it. We are top of the class, and we're always rolling out new things to ensure that there's protection on cyber. And we work this with our partners, and when you look at the available resources that the government has, we heavily rely also on that, on the new trends that are coming up on cyber, so that we continuously upgrade our security around our systems.
From where you sit, sir, do you think government has done enough, or rather authorities have done enough, to safeguard the client, or rather depositors, when it comes to crimes such as fraud and impersonation? Because a majority, we are seeing, that is one of the trends that is happening within the banking sector. Do you think we have done enough to ensure that depositors are safe?
Yeah. My experience is these fraudsters are constantly changing their modes of operation, and they're constantly ahead. They're constantly ahead. As soon as they make one step, you catch up, they've taken another step. So we are continuously lagging behind. But what we do is, as a risk management, we try and anticipate what can happen. But the problem now is, because of the frauds and the internal element, you have terrorists inside the organization. In most banks, most of the frauds that happen, you'll find a linking to somebody internally. So one of the key things we try to is look at this person you're employing, do a thorough check, background check. If they're going to be exposed in this area and they'll have access to maybe the system, how good are they, where are they coming from, and can we trust them? I think that one, you can't do enough. So we try and start from that level. This person we are putting in charge of this area, can we trust them? So we do a lot of background checks. so that you build from there, because a lot of the frauds that happen have a hand internally.
Internal hand at that. So just as a one-off, and I want to pick on your banking and savings expertise here. We've talked about chamas, the spirit of Harambe, consolidation of funds. The little you have, the little I have, we bring it together, we do an investment. As a savings and investment channel or wheel, is this something you'd recommend as we wind down this conversation?
Yes, although I find the generation that we are in, because of the technology that they use, they find they've become a little bit more individualistic. Yeah, they don't like doing things together. So you'll find, and that's why you find something like Fuliza. I was looking at it today. It's borrowing 1.2 billion daily, because this is an individual borrowing. But they're doing it without the safety net of saying, I'm borrowing to do something. But when you're in a chama, you know, you discuss, let's say you're in the market and you're in a chama and you're saving together as a group, you go through the risks that are facing you in that locality. So if it's a market, let's say City Market, which is just next to Postbank, if you have a group there and you're all selling flowers or you're selling bogas, you can sit and say, okay, we are going to face challenges, or we know how our cycle is. Flowers, maybe this period is expensive. There's a lot of demand maybe in December, so all this demand during weekends because of funerals and weddings. So you can pace yourself. When you're in a chama, you discuss such things, and then you can also now decide, this is how I'll project and do my savings, because my cycle is like this. Every Friday I need to have this big pot of flowers, so I can be saving Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday I remove it, buy the flowers, and then now start savings again on Monday. So when you're in a chama and you have those kind of discussions, you get to understand your market, you get to understand yourself, and also have those personal relationships, which will push you now to those new higher levels, because you'll be seeing somebody succeeding, and you'll be asking them, what have you done? Somebody will tell you, oh, me, I keep saving 50%. Each time I do this, I save maybe 50%. While you say, nikipatanga, I pitia the river road up, I take 1 or 2 before going home. And then you realize, this is where I'm failing. Yeah, so you have that peer pressure and peer social pressure to make you be better when you have those chamas. So I really encourage that. Yeah,
sharing of information with people of the like mind and the like goal. So parting shots, sir, that you'd want to address to Wanjiku. We already know we do not save as much as we should. What is the take from your expertise and where you sit right now?
My take is, demands for the money will always be there. Demand for money will always be there. There's always this phone call which will come, oh, we need this, oh, this is happening. But you need now to have a good kichungi or a nice sieve to say, this is important, this is critical. And as a matter of fact, just develop that discipline. If you're earning money daily, develop that discipline of saving daily. If you're earning monthly, develop that discipline of savings monthly. If it's quarterly, quarterly. And if you're in an erratic business, there's some people I know who will wait, maybe if it's farming, you will wait for 6 months or so. When you sell your produce is when you save. So you have a higher responsibility of having to save during that time when you're harvesting. Otherwise, if you take your harvest, and we normally see during bonus time what happens. Yes, we normally see what happens. That's the time now to go to the ground and tell people, guys, this is not the time now to spend. Relax. Relax, save now, because you don't know what tomorrow will be. Tomorrow may be a year of drought. You don't know what will happen. So you need to constantly keep saving so that you anticipate for what might happen in the future, so that you are back in business again in the future. And that's what savings helps you. It sets money aside for you, it sets capital aside for you, so that when that drought comes, or when there's a downside, or when a pandemic comes, you have money. And that's why you find people now who had money in the banks have just retained them there first to watch out, so that when the opportunities come up, you'll start seeing again a lot of flow in the market,
or rather in investment.
Well,
we have been talking about matters savings at a point when Kenya has been regarded as a country that has a very low saving culture. Take home this morning is that money demands will always be there, but from our guest this morning, who is the managing director at Postbank, Mr. Raphael Lekolool, saying that at least 20% after you have given Caesar what belongs to Caesar, and you have your monies there, 20% needs to go into saving. And don't wait up until such a time you're earning a 6-figure salary, or bringing in, or rather your business earns you that much. The little, even if it's 100 shillings, save 20, spend, and plan to spend 80%. I'm Regina Manyara. You're watching KBS Channel 1, and this is Good Morning Kenya.